Hello, everyone. Let me ask you something. Have you ever done something that people look at you sideways for? Something that makes them say, "That's crazy. Why would you do that?" For me, that's working out at 3 a.m. Most people are asleep, chasing dreams in their beds, while I'm wide awake chasing mine in the gym. And I don't do it because it's easy or because it looks cool on a motivational poster. I do it because it reminds me every single day that discipline is louder than comfort, that progress is built when no one's watching, and that the quietest hours of the night can be the loudest proof of who you really are. Working out at 3 a.m. isn't about the weights or the sweat or even the muscle. It's about telling myself, you don't need the perfect timing, you just need commitment. That's why I choose the hour when excuses are at their strongest. Because if I can win that battle at 3 a.m., there's no challenge in the daylight that can shake me. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had somebody look at your choices and say, "That's crazy. Why would you do that?" For me, that question comes up every time I tell someone that I work out at 3 in the morning. Most people shake their heads. They say, "Why not just go later in the day like everyone else?" And I smile because the truth is I don't work out at 3 a.m. because it's convenient. I don't do it because it's comfortable. I do it because it teaches me something about myself that no daylight ever could. See, at 3 a.m., the world is quiet. No phones buzzing, no traffic outside, no emails demanding my attention, just silence. And in that silence, I find the most honest version of myself. At that hour, there are no excuses left to hide behind. Either I get up and do the work, or I stay in bed and let my comfort win. And every time I choose the work, I remind myself that my goals mean more to me than my excuses. That's the lesson. Working out at 3 a.m. is not about the weights. It's not even about the body. It's about building discipline when no one's watching. Most people train when it's convenient. But growth doesn't happen in convenience. Growth happens when you're tired, when you don't feel like it, when every part of you says, "Stay in bed," and you choose otherwise. Because that choice, repeated again and again, creates a version of you that is unshackable. When the alarm rings and it's pitch dark, my body says no, but my purpose says yes. That's the battle I fight every morning. And the victory is not in lifting the heaviest weight. The victory is in showing up when nobody expects me to, showing up when no one will give me credit, showing up when the easy thing to do is nothing at all. That's the win. People think motivation is what gets you out of bed. But here's the truth. Motivation is a spark and it fades. Discipline is the fire you keep alive. And discipline grows every time you choose action over comfort. At 3 a.m., there is no crowd to clap for me, no one to say, "Great job." The reward is internal. It's that quiet confidence you carry throughout the day that says, "I already fought my hardest battle this morning and I won." Now, let me be real with you. It's not glamorous. Nobody posts the workout they did in a dark, empty gym at 3 in the morning. Nobody claps for the sweat dripping off your face while the rest of the city sleeps. And that's the point. It's not for them. It's for me. It's for the version of myself that knows success is built in the dark before it ever shines in the light. Why 3 a.m.? Because excuses live in the daylight. During the day, I can say I'm too busy, I've got too many calls, too many emails, too much on my plate. But at 3 in the morning, there are no excuses. There's nothing on my calendar. There's no distraction. There's only me and the choice I make. That's clarity. That's honesty. And here's the beautiful thing. When you win that early battle, it changes the rest of your day. Every challenge that comes feels smaller because you already did the hardest thing. You conquered yourself. You already proved that your comfort does not control you. And when you carry that mindset, life feels different. Obstacles feel smaller. Opportunities feel bigger. Some people think success is about talent or luck, but I've learned that real success is about consistency. And consistency comes from discipline. Working out at 3 a.m. is not about building my body, it's about building my mind. It's about training that voice inside me that says, "Do the hard thing, even when no one's looking." Because if I can control myself at 3 a.m., I can control myself in every other area of my life. There will always be people who don't understand. They'll call it extreme, unnecessary, even crazy. And that's okay, because greatness has always looked a little crazy to the ones who settle for average. Every breakthrough, every achievement, every transformation begins with a decision that most people won't make. And I've decided that I don't want an average life. I don't want average results. I want to know that I gave everything I had. And that means doing things most people won't do, like working out while the world is asleep. The truth is, 3 a.m. is not a time on the clock. It's a mindset. For me, it happens to be literal. But for you, maybe your 3 a.m. is that moment you push through when you're tired, when you're scared, when you're tempted to quit. Maybe it's saying no to comfort and yes to growth in whatever form that takes in your life. Because the point isn't the hour, it's the choice. The choice to go one step further than your excuses. So the reason I work out at 3 a.m. isn't because I love it. It's not because it feels good in the moment. It's because it shapes who I am becoming. Every rep in that quiet gym is a reminder that I am not controlled by how I feel. I am led by what I believe. And I believe that discipline beats comfort. I believe that growth beats excuses. And I believe that who I become in the dark will determine what I achieve in the light. So when people ask me, why 3 a.m., I tell them this. Because it's hard, because it's uncomfortable, because it forces me to face myself. And because every time I choose that path, I become stronger, not just in my body, but in my mind, my discipline, and my life. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's why I work out at 3 a.m. I get asked all the time, why on earth do you work out at 3 in the morning? And every time I smile, because the real answer has very little to do with weights or treadmills or muscles. It has everything to do with mindset. To most people, 3 a.m. looks like the middle of the night, a time meant for sleeping. But for me, it's a reminder that the world doesn't get to tell me when to start, when to grind, or when to grow. I choose that, and I choose 3 a.m. Let me paint the picture for you. The alarm goes off. It's pitch black outside. The air feels heavier, colder. Your body begs you to stay under the covers. Every excuse is right there at your fingertips. I'll go later. I'll go tomorrow. I'll rest today. That moment right there, that fight between your comfort and your commitment, that's the real workout. And when I drag myself up, lace my shoes, and step into that quiet gym, I've already won. The weights are just the bonus. See, 3 a.m. is not convenient. It's not normal. It's not even practical by most standards. But that's the point. Growth does not live in the land of comfort. Growth lives in the places that make you uncomfortable, in the decisions that force you to rise above your excuses. Working out at 3 a.m. reminds me daily that I am capable of doing hard things, not once in a while, not when it feels good, but consistently. Most people think discipline is about punishment. They think it's rigid, harsh, unforgiving. But I see it differently. Discipline is freedom. Discipline is choosing what matters most over what feels good right now. When I work out at 3 a.m., I'm not punishing myself. I'm freeing myself. Freeing myself from distractions, from excuses, from the temptation to delay my goals until a better time. At 3 in the morning, there is no better time. There is only now. And here's what I've learned. The way you start your day creates the story you tell yourself about who you are. If you start by pressing snooze, you're telling yourself, I can wait. I can put this off. My comfort comes first. But when you start your day by doing something hard, something most people won't do, you carry a completely different story into the rest of your life. The story that says, I do what I say I'll do. I keep my promises to myself. I am in control. There is something powerful about being awake when the world is asleep. The quiet is almost sacred. There are no messages to answer, no meetings to prepare for, no noise. Just me, the weights, and the sound of my own breathing. That space gives me clarity. It reminds me that before the world asks anything of me, I've already invested in myself. Before the chaos of the day, I've already created order. Before anyone else gets a piece of me, I've already claimed the best part for myself. Now, let's be real. Not every day feels good. There are mornings where I question why I do this, where every muscle aches, every thought says, stay down. But that's the lesson. Motivation is unreliable. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. If I only moved when I felt motivated, I'd barely move at all. What keeps me consistent is not motivation. It's discipline. And discipline is built by showing up again and again, especially when you don't feel like it. I want you to imagine this. You've got a goal. Maybe it's building your career. Maybe it's fixing your health. Maybe it's creating a better future for your family. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you delay that goal. Every time you put off the work, you put off the life you say you want. That realization hit me hard. I didn't want to be the person who said, one day. I wanted to be the person who said, day one. And for me, day one starts every day at 3 a.m. Working out that early taught me a truth I carry everywhere. The hardest part of anything is starting. Once you're up, once you're moving, once you've stepped into the gym, the rest takes care of itself. Life is the same way. The hardest part of chasing your dreams isn't doing the work. It's starting the work. It's taking that first uncomfortable step. And when you make that a habit, when starting becomes second nature, there is nothing you can't take on. Some people hear 3 a.m. and think it's about being extreme, but it's not about extremes. It's about intention. My 3 a.m. may not be your 3 a.m. for you. It might mean saying no to things that drain you, or waking up 1 hour earlier to read, or spending your lunch break building your dream instead of scrolling your phone. The point isn't the time. The point is creating a space in your life where excuses don't stand a chance, where you prove to yourself that you can do hard things. Here's what happens when you build that habit. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop wasting time arguing about whether or not you're going to follow through. You stop giving power to your excuses, and instead you build momentum. Discipline creates confidence, and confidence creates results. Suddenly, life feels different. Challenges feel smaller. Setbacks don't break you, because you've already proven in the quietest, hardest hours that you are stronger than your circumstances. When people ask me why 3 a.m., I tell them this because it's my reminder. My reminder that success is not about luck, it's about choice. My reminder that comfort will never change me, but discipline always will. My reminder that every day I get to decide who I'm going to be, and I choose to be someone who doesn't wait for the perfect time, but creates it. So yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it's hard. But that's exactly why I do it. Because every time I conquer that discomfort, I get stronger. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And that strength carries into everything else I do. Into how I work, into how I lead, into how I live. At the end of the day, it's not really about 3 a.m. It's about what it represents. It represents the moment you stop letting life happen to you and you start happening to life. It represents the choice to live on your terms, to prioritize your growth, to take ownership of your future. And if waking up in the middle of the night to push my limits reminds me of that truth every single day, then it's worth every ounce of tiredness, every sore muscle, every long morning. That's why I work out at 3 a.m., because it's not just exercise. It's a declaration. A declaration that discipline beats comfort, that consistency beats excuses, and that the person I'm becoming is worth every sacrifice. And when I walk out of that gym and see the sun rising, I know I've already won the day.